Of course, this doesn't look good for Blake Lively's attorneys. They look like idiots in the press.
See, in a trial.
Yeah, well, I mean, remember, this happened on a movie set. So there's a lot of video out there, and the jury is going to have a chance to see potentially some of these interactions back and forth on video. We have not seen that video.
Blake Lively never expected what happened with her 13 claims. Yes, 13.
After this federal judge tossed out late today most of Lively's claims in the sexual harassment suit against Baldoni.
Not delayed, not under review, not sent back for revisions. Gone. 10 claims, rejected.
Ruling issued Thursday, the judge dismissed 10 of the 13 claims in Lively's lawsuit, including claims of harassment, defamation, and conspiracy, after determining Lively's core sexual harassment claims did not meet key legal requirements.
And I need you to understand something. This wasn't some slow procedural thing where the judge said, we'll revisit this later. No, this was direct, immediate, the kind of ruling that changes the air in a room the second it lands. You could feel the shift. Everyone in that courtroom felt the shift.
It's the eagerly awaited showdown as Blake Lively arrives at court. Flanked by her lawyers, the actress wore an olive green double-breasted power suit with a pink striped button-up shirt. Her look is strikingly similar to her foe, actor and director Justin Baldoni, who wore a green coat with a pink scarf.
Now, according to an internal source, and I want you to really sit with this, Blake Lively was completely blindsided by the judge's decision. And this wasn't after the hearing. This was before the hearing even ended. Let me say that again. The ruling started coming down and the shock hit in real time. Not later, not in private, right there, in that courtroom, in front of everyone. And let me tell you why that matters. When a judge starts rejecting your claims at that speed, at that volume, it means something very specific. It means the arguments you brought, the ones your team prepared, rehearsed, and believed in, they didn't land. They didn't just underperform. They fell flat, in the exact place where they needed to hit the hardest.
So it was quite procedural. Basically, the judge found that Blake Lively did not qualify as an employee. Rather, she was an independent contractor based on a number of factors that they consider. And under federal employment law, sexual harassment only applies to employees and not independent contractors. So as a result, the judge kicked the federal claims.
Now here is what most people don't know about this case. This isn't some celebrity gossip situation. This case revolves around serious allegations, inappropriate behavior, workplace misconduct. We're talking about claims that carry real weight in a courtroom.
Actress is accusing her director and co-star of sexual harassment, inappropriate conduct, and improvising intimate scenes without consent. Allegations Baldoni.
And when I say high stakes, I mean high stakes. These are the kind of allegations that demand precision, tight legal control, strong evidence, airtight positioning. You cannot walk into a courtroom with claims like these and leave any room at all for weakness. Because the moment a judge sees a gap, they will push through it. That's their job.
I mean, I think that, romance is really important. You're supposed to, tell a story well and make people feel, but you're also supposed to do it in a way that, is safe and respectful for all.
But here's what happened inside that courtroom. That control, it didn't hold. One by one, the claims got shut down. And I'm not talking about softened. I'm not talking about adjusted or revised or sent back for more evidence. I mean removed, taken off the table completely.
According to Judge Louis J. Lehman's 152-page opinion obtained by E! News, the sexual harassment claims were dismissed due to legal grounds, including a lack of connection to California law and because Blake was classified as an independent contractor, not.
And now here is where it gets really interesting. Because when 10 out of 13 claims collapse like that, when the majority of your case gets thrown out in a single hearing, the attention doesn't just stay on the case itself, it goes straight to the lawyers. And I need you to understand why. Every single claim that gets presented in a courtroom carries the approval of the legal team, their stamp, their strategy, their judgment call. They looked at those 13 claims and said, yes, all of these are strong enough to stand in front of a judge. So when 10 of them get rejected, that's not just a bad day, that's a statement. That's the court saying your team got it wrong. And when that happens, the pressure doesn't stay pointed outward at the other side anymore. It turns inward, directly at the people who built the case.
We started with what we have now. So we started with not only the sexual harassment claims, but we started with also defamation claims against Baldoni and his attorney based on statements that the attorney made to the press that were allegedly defamatory, as well as false light invasion of privacy. Also, there were breach of contract claims, one of which was dismissed as well, and all of the individual defendants have been dismissed.
And that pressure? It was already building before the ruling even came down.
Back now with new and dramatic developments in the legal fight between co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. A judge today warning their lawyers to try the case in that court and not the court of public opinion.
Now let me show you what most people missed, because a close insider is claiming that tensions were already high behind the scenes. Hours before court even started, Blake was reportedly frustrated with her legal team. Hours before. That means the instability didn't begin when the judge started rejecting claims. It was already there, sitting underneath the surface, quiet, controlled, but absolutely present. And you see, that changes everything about how you read this story. Because it means Blake didn't walk into that courtroom feeling confident and then get blindsided. She walked in already uneasy, already feeling like something wasn't right. And then the worst possible outcome started unfolding in front of her. Claim after claim after claim, gone. Whatever tension existed before that hearing, it didn't just grow, it exploded.
But despite their absence, the temperature in the courtroom got heated as lawyers for both sides tried to score legal points for their clients. This as the stars themselves wage war in the court of public opinion with viral social media posts.
Because after the ruling, things did not settle, not even close. They escalated. And this is the part I need you to pay attention to. According to an insider, Blake Lively was visibly upset with her own lawyers right after the ruling. Not privately, not behind closed doors hours later, right there, and she reportedly started questioning their strategy in what's being described as a tense exchange. Now let me be clear about what that means. That is not a client quietly expressing concern. That is confrontation. That is someone who just watched the majority of her case get thrown out, turning to the people who told her those claims would hold, and saying, "What happened?" And I am not exaggerating when I tell you, that moment matters more than most people realize. Because here's the thing about the relationship between a client and their legal team. It runs on trust. That's it. The whole thing is built on trust. You trust them to know the law. You trust them to read the judge. You trust them to prepare you for what's coming. And once that trust cracks, once a client starts openly questioning their lawyers like that, the entire foundation of the case starts to shake. Strategy depends on trust. Execution depends on alignment. And when both of those are under pressure at the same time, you're not fighting the other side anymore. You're fighting yourself.
Lively wanted the judge to restrict what Baldoni's attorney can say, claiming he violated professional ethics. But Judge Louis Lyman disagreed. Here's what attorneys for each had to say outside the courtroom.
We're really pleased with how the proceeding went, and we really respect Judge Lyman, and we're really...
So what's actually left? What survived? 3 claims.
Blake Lively is looking forward to her day in court. Despite a judge recently throwing out 10 out of 13 claims in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, the actress says she's still grateful to have the remainder of her complaint, accusing Her It Ends With Us director and his associates of retaliation, breach of contract, as well as aiding and abetting retaliation, move on to a jury trial.
Just 3.
So only 3 remain, one of those 3 being retaliation, breach of contract, and aiding and abetting retaliation. Those still have a lot of meat on them, and we could see them still continue on to trial.
Now technically, and I want to be honest with you here, technically the case is still alive. 3 claims means the case continues. It's not dismissed, it's not over. But let me tell you what 3 out of 13 actually feels like in a courtroom. It feels like you went in with an army and came out with a handful. Those 3 claims don't carry weight anymore. They carry pressure, enormous pressure, because every single argument tied to those 3 remaining claims now has to survive under a level of scrutiny that just doubled, maybe tripled. The judge has already shown a willingness to reject. The other side now has momentum, and there is no buffer left, no extra claims to fall back on, no room to absorb another hit. Trust me, when you lose 10 claims and you're holding on to 3, you are not playing offense anymore. You are surviving. And now everything tightens. I mean everything. Every next move becomes critical. Every filing, every argument, every word chosen in that courtroom. Because this is no longer a case moving forward with strength and confidence. This is a case trying to hold its ground after taking a massive hit. And the difference between those 2 things? It's everything.
This morning, It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni heading back to court for the latest chapter in their legal battle. The 2 seen separately entering a New York City federal court for a settlement conference Wednesday, seeing if they could reach a deal before trial.
But now here's the thing. And this is what keeps me up about this whole situation. The real issue isn't just the rejection, it's what the rejection reveals. Because you have to ask the hard questions now. Was this case overbuilt? Did someone stack it with claims they knew were weak just to make it look bigger? Because 13 claims sounds powerful, it sounds overwhelming. But if 10 of them can't survive a single hearing, then they were never strong to begin with. They were padding, and padding collapses. Or was it a miscalculation? Did the legal team genuinely believe all 13 would stand? Did they misjudge the judge? Misjudge the evidence? Misjudge how the arguments would land when spoken out loud in a courtroom instead of written on paper? Or, and this is the one that should worry Blake's side the most, did something break between preparation and execution? Because there's a difference between having a strong case on paper and actually delivering it in court. Maybe the strategy was sound, but the delivery failed. Maybe the evidence was there, but it wasn't presented the way it needed to be. I don't know which one it is, but I know this. Whatever the answer is, it's already showing consequences. Real ones. Right now. Now all the focus shifts to what happens next. And this is where every single person watching this case should be paying attention. Do those 3 remaining claims actually have the strength to carry this entire case forward? Because right now they're holding up everything. The whole thing rests on them. And if even one of them wobbles, there's nothing underneath to catch it. Or, and this is the question nobody on Blake's side wants to hear, are those 3 claims standing on the same unstable ground as the 10 that just got rejected? Because if the legal strategy that built the original 13 was flawed, then the 3 that survived might not be as solid as they look. They might just be the last ones standing, not the strongest ones. And then there's the team question. Does Blake Lively continue with the same lawyers? After what insiders describe as visible frustration, after that tense exchange, after watching 10 claims get thrown out in a single hearing, that's a decision that will define the rest of this case. Because switching legal teams mid-case is messy, it's expensive, it slows everything down, but staying with a team you no longer trust, that might be worse.
What typically happens is the parties are in separate rooms. Lively and Baldoni, they won't even see each other, and the judge will go back and forth between the rooms to try to bring them to some sort of compromise. I think it's going to be hard to settle this case because there's so much at stake.
Because right now, this is not about momentum anymore. Momentum is gone. That left the building the second the judge rejected the first claim. This is about whether anything is left to fight with. And the pressure is not easing. I need you to hear that. It is building. Every day that passes without a clear next move, it builds. Every headline that runs about the 10 rejected claims, it builds. Every conversation happening behind closed doors between Blake and her lawyers, it builds. If those remaining 3 claims don't hold up under the next round of scrutiny, if the strategy doesn't get tighter, sharper, and more focused than anything we've seen so far, if the internal cracks between Blake and her legal team keep widening instead of closing, then this case doesn't slow down, it doesn't stall, it doesn't quietly fade, it drops. So what happens next? That's the question. That's the only question that matters right now. Do those 3 claims change everything? Do they become the foundation of something stronger, something rebuilt from the ground up? Or do they confirm exactly what this ruling just started? That the case was weaker than it looked, that the strategy was flawed from the beginning, and that the courtroom just exposed what was always there underneath the surface. And if the foundation is already shaking, if the trust is cracked, the strategy is questioned, and the claims are shrinking, then I have to ask you one thing. How long before the rest follows?